From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, June the 25th, 2019. We opened with two major meetings that took place today in Jerusalem and in Bahrain, where the Peace to Prosperity workshop began. Senior White House advisor Jared Kushner opened the international gathering, laying out details of the U.S. economic plan to greatly improve the lives of the Palestinian people, which would be implemented as part of a peace agreement between the Palestinians and Israel. Referring to the Palestinians, Kushner said the U.S. has not given up on you, and he said that the U.S. peace plan was the opportunity of the century.
Agreeing on an economic pathway forward is a necessary precondition to resolving what is a previously unsolvable political situation. To be clear, economic growth and prosperity for the Palestinian people are not possible without an enduring and fair political solution to the conflict, one that guarantees Israel's security and respects the dignity of the Palestinian people.
In Jerusalem, meanwhile, a trilateral summit, the first of its kind, took place between the national security advisors of Israel, the United States, and Russia. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu led the event with Secretary of the Russian Security Council Nikolai Patrushev, U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton, and Israeli National Security Advisor Meir Ben-Shabbat in the capital, where he shared his hopes for continued joint efforts between the countries, while reiterating that Israel would act against any threat.
I believe that there is a wider basis for cooperation between the three of us than many believe. This summit represents a real opportunity to help advance that stability in our region, and particularly in Syria. Israel will continue to prevent Iran from using neighboring territory as platforms to attack us, and Israel will respond forcefully to any such attacks.
Patrushev earlier said Israel's security was of great importance, but he rejected the notion that Iran was the main threat to security in the region and claimed Iranian presence in Syria was stabilizing the situation there, adding that Israeli airstrikes against Iranian forces in Syria were undesirable. Bolton, meanwhile, warned Iran of exceeding the uranium enrichment levels of the nuclear deal. He said the U.S. would step up sanctions against the Islamic Republic if it needed to. He also expressed optimism for cooperation.
I welcome the opportunity to strengthen even further the deep cooperation between the United States and Israel, and to engage in strategic discussions with Russia and Israel together.
And staying with the Prime Minister, Netanyahu's Likud party said that he is considering a proposal by Knesset Speaker Yuli Edelstein to cancel Israel's national elections that are set for September the 17th. After a report earlier this evening from Israel's Channel 12 News, Likud said Prime Minister Netanyahu is seriously considering Knesset Speaker Edelstein's offer and will examine it in the coming days. Channel 12 had reported that Edelstein was looking for a way to revoke the elections, and he later confirmed that report, tweeting, "I found a parliamentary framework, and there is an option to cancel the most unnecessary elections in Israel's history. It is our obligation," he wrote, "to allow the 21st Knesset to keep working." Israel's President Reuven Rivlin hosted an event marking the 40th anniversary of the peace treaty signed between Israel and Egypt on March the 26th of 1979. The president said it should serve as an inspiration for peace with the Palestinians. Rivlin told Egypt's ambassador to Israel, Khalid Azmi, when courageous leaders are willing to end their conflict and set out on a new path based on reconciliation and mutual respect, peace can be achieved more quickly than we can imagine. Azmi agreed, saying our peace treaty has set important examples in how Middle East peace is negotiated. The Firkat al-Nur Orchestra for Classical Arabic Music performed at the ceremony tonight. Its members include Orthodox and secular Jews, Muslim and Christian Arabs, and Druze. A merger of two parties initiated by Prime Minister Netanyahu just before Israel's elections in April has reportedly broken apart. The far-right Otzma Yehudit, the Jewish Power Party, said today that it will break its alliance with the Jewish Home Party, claiming the latter was not honoring the terms of the merger agreement. The United Nations yesterday held a special session in New York City to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the AMIA Jewish Community Center bombing in Buenos Aires, Argentina. 85 people were killed and over 300 injured when a suicide bomber drove a car full of explosives into the Jewish Center building on July the 18th of 1994. The terror attack is widely believed to have been carried out by Iranian-backed terror group Hezbollah. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is heading to Israel tomorrow, and accompanying him will be Consul General of Israel in New York, Dani Dayan. Cuomo said the trip was a gesture of solidarity with the Jewish community and with the people of Israel, and noted recent anti-Semitic incidents in New York. Dayan said Governor Cuomo sets an example to leaders all over the world who are battling increasing anti-Semitism in their communities. During their very brief trip, the governor and state officials will also work to find business opportunities that can strengthen New York's economy. Well, gaming giant Nintendo had up until this week only one retail store in the world, in New York City. But yesterday, 14 years after opening that store in Rockefeller Center, Nintendo opened its second official retail store in Tel Aviv. Hundreds lined up at the bustling shopping mall of Dizengoff Center for the grand opening. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, June the 25th at 7 o'clock. More from our coverage of the American Jewish Committee's Global Forum with U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in conversation with AJC CEO David Harris. Also, we hear from Representatives Rob Portman and Hakeem Jeffries and Senators Ted Cruz and Bernie Sanders. At 9 o'clock, Mark Golub sits down with AJC's newly elected president, Harriet Schleifer on L'chaim, who talks about the key challenges facing American Jewish life. At 10:30, Israeli artists celebrate Israel's cultural achievements after 70 years. And coming up right after this newscast, it's Insight to Israel. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, June the 25th, 2019. I'm Teisha Bader.